Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Now, I know I don't usually cover the LCK a ton on this channel. You know, we have the big stories here and there. We follow up with the big names and the big teams every once in a while. But getting closer to MSI, I have been following the LCK more and more. And really, lately, it has been a very, very interesting league. You know, lately we've seen T1 climbing up the standings. We've seen DWG Gaming just dropping a series against Gen G. But then, coming back with a really nice stomp of DRX today. And there's been a lot of craziness going on. And again, these things are going to have direct effects on the LEC, on the LCS when we go to international competition just a few weeks away. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about a very, very big and very important story surrounding one of the better and maybe even the best player in the entire LCK and what's going on with him right now. That is DWG Gaming Kia Showmaker is having some medical issues, is having a potential injury, and we don't really know what the future exactly looks like for him. And again, this could have a ripple effect throughout all the world in professional League of Legends. So we're going to be talking about that today, what's going on exactly, what the future looks like, and just kind of breaking it all down as much as we can, because there's still a lot of questions up in the air, but we'll go through it all. Before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, please take a second and smash that subscribe button. I would appreciate it so much. We're getting closer and closer to 6,500 subscribers. That would be an absolutely insane number to hit. So check it out down below, see if you're subscribed. If you're not, give me a click real quick. I think like 60% of the people that watch my videos consistently are actually not subscribed. So if you're watching my stuff anyway, hey, just click that button. You know, they just go to your sub feed. You still don't have to watch all my videos if you don't want to. Also, drop a like if you do enjoy this video. It really helps me out the YouTube algorithm. With that being said, let's get right into this. So this is obviously a really big and important story surrounding Showmaker. This is Ashley Kang actually tweeted out. This was yesterday. A statement from DWG Kia regarding Showmaker's health. Translation includes paraphrases. They put out this little post and stuff. This morning, Showmaker revealed during his personal stream he is experiencing a symptom where his hand and arm shake violently. So that is something that people were talking about. Like, how is DWG Gaming finding out about this from his personal stream? Like, one, people were saying it seems like something that they should have known about or they should know about. But on the flip side, I'm like, this is something that Showmaker should have been bringing attention to the team. To the management, to potentially, medical personnel that they have, or either that they are able to get him to take care of something like this. I mean, people were flaming DWG for this, but DWG can only know what Showmaker tells them, if it's not happening in front of their eyes, or if Showmaker's not actually telling them about it. I mean, they can't read his mind. I mean, they're not like his babysitter or something either. But he did tell his stream, and then, we see down below, the DK staff contacted Showmaker as soon as they were notified, confirmed that Showmaker has been experiencing this symptom for several days, which is also pretty concerning because, whenever you have injuries or whatever even this is going on, I work in the medical field to an extent. I'm not like a doctor or anything, but this is not something I've necessarily heard, and it sounds pretty serious. If your hand and arm and stuff are shaking, I mean, it could obviously be nerve related, it could be an injury, it could be stress type stuff going on. There's a lot of different things that could be going on, but if it's been happening for several days, if it's just like a one-off, everyone has weird stuff happen, bodies are weird, you can't explain a lot of things, but if it's happening for several days, that's concerning if it's kind of a recurring thing. But also, if you do have an injury or an issue or something going on, you want to tackle it as soon as you can. You want to stay on top of this. One, so it doesn't worsen. Two, so it's not happening, so it doesn't keep coming back. So the fact that he necessarily wasn't able to jump on this right away also, could have further repercussions down the line. The more damage and stuff you're doing to something, if it is like an injury, could cause lasting effects, and that is very, very scary and something we absolutely do not want to see for one of the most talented League of Legends player really in the world, and a guy who has a very exciting career ahead of him, years and years and years ahead. You don't want to sacrifice a couple regular season games or scrims or practices or whatever now for 2, 3, 5 years of your career in the future. So it's definitely something to take seriously. So today they visited the hospital to conduct checkups and physiotherapy, and they've also booked a future session for another checkup. So it sounds like they are on top of this. Obviously, these are people with a ton of money, people who can get absolutely awesome medical care. They can get the best advice, they can get the best treatments, they can figure out what's going on, and hopefully they do get this taken care of. I hope we continue to hear about this, so we can maybe hear exactly what's going on. And they said, so Showmaker can get appropriate treatment according to his current health situations. We thank the fans who sent us their concerns for Showmaker's health. DWG Gaming Kia's highest priority is Showmaker's health. We promise we will put in efforts for his speedy recovery. So this is obviously a very, very scary situation. I know we have seen stuff like this with a guy like Uzi in the past who has had injuries and stuff that have prevented him from practicing, from scrimming at times, from playing in regular season games at times, from playing in entire splits at times. And a guy who was so talented, so fun to watch, a huge face of League of Legends over in China and really all around the world, have his career cut short and miss games and miss splits and stuff and have his career shortened and games removed and miss out on so much stuff. He obviously had an insane, illustrious career, but it could have been so much better. And it sucks that it came down to health issues, that it came down to injuries and stuff like that. And I really hope this isn't the beginning of something like that for Showmaker for so many different reasons. Again, one, because he is an awesome talent, and you just hope that stuff like this doesn't happen to people. No one would really wish this on anyone, even Damwon Gaming's rivals or the people that hate them, or like G2 fans or T1 fans or whatever. Hope that something like this doesn't happen. But then also just looking at it in the competitive League of Legends scene, Damwon is one of the best teams in the LCK. I mean, they're probably the best team in the LCK. They're probably the best team in the world right now. So this is right before the LCK playoffs. You don't want to see, Showmaker either one, not be able to play, which would ultimately really suck. But two, not be able to scrim, not be able to practice practice less, have to scrim less, have to play solo queue less, leading into the playoffs and leading into MSI and stuff like that. Because there's some tough teams. Hanwha Life, Gen G, T1 is looking really hot right now. There's a ton of teams that are actually looking really solid in the LCK over in Korea. And Damwon's going to have their work cut out for them. Like, yes, I do, and most people do believe that they are a much more talented team than a lot of these teams. And they are kind of, a whole tier above most of the other teams in the LCK. But still, if your mid laner is not sharp, if he is, if he isn't well practiced, if he isn't, exactly on top of his mechanics and stuff, it's not like these teams aren't good enough to punish mistakes from Damwon Gaming potentially, or mistakes from Showmaker potentially, or if Damwon has to play with like a sub or something, that could be really unfortunate. And then obviously that does have a ripple effect to the LEC, to the LCS. G2 is one of these teams that is obviously a big rival of Damwon Gaming Kia, and they want to play them at their best. If you are a competitor, yes, they want to beat them, and maybe if Showmaker is injured or hurt or doesn't get to play, it could be a little easier to beat them, but that wouldn't be as sweet of a victory for G2. That wouldn't feel like a win. That wouldn't feel as good. You want to beat everyone in the world, and you want to win MSI, you want to win tournaments, yeah, sure, but also you want to beat teams at their best. Their rivalry is with Showmaker, it is with Damwon Gaming at their best with their mid laner. So I really mostly hope that Showmaker is okay. I hope he is able to continue to play, practice, all that stuff. I hope this is kind of a one-off thing, and they get him some treatment. They maybe start doing some stretches. Maybe they move his desk around, make it a little more ergonomic, all that stuff. Get him set up. Maybe take some medications and stuff. Hopefully they get him ready to go. But again, this is scary. We don't really know what's going to go on right now. We don't know when this will flare up again, when he's going to have to sit out games, practice, scrims, whatever. The good news is that Damwon Gaming did play this morning over in the LCK. This is on Sunday, and he actually did play in their series against DRX, so that was a good sign. I was concerned that he would maybe have to sit out this week or something, because, again, this was yesterday. This was on Saturday. I'm not sure if these events took place on Friday or Saturday, but this was leading up into their scrims, and if he was in and out of the hospital, or if he was, needing medical attention, or who knows what the doctor was going to tell him, if he would recommend him taking a couple days off or a couple weeks off or something, which right now wouldn't mean too much, because these are regular season games where Damwon pretty much has, they're locked into the 1 seed, so they don't really care too much about these games, but still, you're practicing, getting ready for the playoffs, all the stuff like that, but luckily Showmaker was able to play 3-0-14 in game 1 on the Zillion against Seraphine for DRX. And then in game 2, pulling out the Zillion once again, going 1-0-14. So, what is that, a 4-0-28 2-game series for Showmaker. So, he had a deathless weekend. It wasn't looking to be too big of an issue. I mean, yeah, it's just 2 Zillion games, which isn't like the most crazy mechanical champion in the world or anything like that. I mean, not a guy, not as crazy as some champions would be. So, maybe they felt like they needed to play the Zillion for whatever reason, or maybe they just thought it was really good. Because, I mean, it definitely worked out. In the second game, they've lost 20-1, beat DRX 20-1, which is obviously crazy. So far, this hasn't had too much of an effect on Showmaker, hasn't had too much of an effect on DRX, but some people, when they start to have these issues, they can really be long-lasting, they can be lingering, they can come back, just like when we saw with Uzi, he had weeks where he was fine, he had splits where he was fine, he went to Worlds, he performed well, he played, a lot with RNG, but there was times when he wasn't fine too, and it really, really does suck. And, you know, Showmaker is a ton of fun to watch. I know the fans in the LCK love getting to watch him play as much as they do, and the international fans love seeing him at MSI and at all these other international tournaments like Worlds as well. It is a ton of fun. It is really, really exciting. And again, as a fan of League of Legends, I want to see the top players, the top teams competing. I want to see what happens when the best of the best go head to head. And obviously, yeah, I want to root for the Western teams. I want G2 to do well. I want G2 to win MSI. I want, you know, the LCS teams to go and perform and knock off some LCK teams and stuff. But I don't want it to be because of an injury or because of something like this. I want to see what happens when the best of the LCS and the best of the LEC and the best of the LCK actually get to play. So, again, MSI still a couple of weeks away. Playoffs not really starting up yet for the LCK, so they have time. We've seen a lot of people deal with injuries and stuff, and they get on top of it, and they start doing the right things. They start changing their habits in whatever way. They start, you know, changing their setup, doing stretches, being mindful of it, and they make full recoveries, and it's never an issue again. I know Bjergsen, early in his career, there was concerns that he was having wrist issues and stuff like that, and they were worried about maybe carpal tunnel or something like that, but he was able to rebound well, started doing stretches, started being more mindful, changed his death setup, and then he was good to go. And I don't think it was really anything that he ever dealt with in his career ever again, or not really anything at least that we ever heard about. He didn't have to miss any games, nothing like that. So this could definitely doesn't have to be a terribly negative thing for Showmaker. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It doesn't have to be an absolute disaster. But I just want everyone to at least be mindful that you know, this is a thing that could be going on, is a thing that could be happening. And again, the LCK playoffs are going to be tough. T1 is hot recently. They are on their tails. Gen G's been good all year. Hanwha Life's been good. Damwon has been better than everyone else. But you know, depending on how this plays out, depending on how this goes, it could make for an interesting LCK playoffs. Could make for an interesting MSI. And I just hope, you know, whatever happens right now, in the long term, that Showmaker's okay, and by the time Worlds comes around, hopefully he's all good and ready to go. But hopefully it doesn't affect MSI either, because it could be a ton of fun. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed it. I would appreciate it so much. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. Leave a comment down below. What do you think is going to happen with this situation? Are you now thinking that T1 maybe has a chance to make a run and win the playoffs? Do you think Showmaker's just going to be fine and Damwon is going to be chilling either way? Because they obviously have a very, very talented team around him. They have a ton of talent, even without Showmaker, even with Showmaker at 75 or 80% or whatever. But I would appreciate that a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date on my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!